onto the game itself. The first half was fantastic, and then it fizzled out in the second half, probably because of time.
Yeah, the standard of football from both teams, I thought the first half was just unbelievable. I mean, both teams just went at each other. I mean, the lack of protection from midfield because of the attacking lineups from both teams. I mean, it was like, OK, you have a go at us, Liverpool, and then City, when you have the ball, you have a go. There's the two midfielders there. They couldn't really cope with the four early on. That was a constant. Come deep for the ball. No one was coming with them. The back four weren't prepared to really go tight because they couldn't. Otherwise, the ball would have been over the top. Same thing. Again, look there, there's no one with him at all. The midfielders couldn't really get near the forwards because of that, and eventually that's how Liverpool got their penalty. Because of that, they kept on going. Take a touch, turn again, brilliant from Mane, and that's how they get their penalty. Man City were exactly the same, and Liverpool couldn't handle them when they went forward. I mean, De Bruyne was finding himself in that little position. Very, very difficult to pick up the space there in between. The midfielders couldn't get together. That's the penalty decision, which I think is very, very harsh indeed. So both teams just went at each other, and it was inevitable that it was going to slow down in the second half, and it did that.
That penalty decision we're going to discuss later in the show because, guess what? Something happens in another game that's very similar to it. What a surprise.
Yeah.
You expand a little bit on De Bruyne then.
You know, it's only the way he finds that space and the way that Manchester City then able exploit the space, and then he then takes advantage of it. And it doesn't take much with De Bruyne. And when you look at him, he gets himself engaged with Joe Gomez, and then Joe Gomez has got him there. Then he's in and around Matip. But then all this time, Manchester City are just slowly just keeping it, making sure that they've got options. And then once we start to get across to here, now he's starting to get into that area, like Al just mentioned, those little pockets. Now they've got that option or they've got this option. You can see the overload. Now what they've got to do now, they've got to change it quickly, because once you change it quickly, then what happens is people like Wijnaldum, you look at Henderson, they're now chasing. Now I think that Wijnaldum should be stopping here, so as he stops that into De Bruyne, but I do think that Henderson also has to be in that space there, what De Bruyne wants to get into. In the end, Wijnaldum overshoots, it goes into De Bruyne, and that's all the time he needs. And then bam, look where they are from the halfway line. It's brilliant the way they do it. And he's done it so many times today, and just some of the times it didn't work out, but when it works like that, it just looks so clinical.
It is a great clip that shows how they all work as a team to create the space for De Bruyne. As you are both here, there'll be debate on whether he meant that touch or not, but it's his reaction to whether he meant that
that's
touch.
what I say. That's where the real talent is, because when you see the touch, when it goes into him, it looks like he's looking for it in front of him. Now here it is, and then he goes, and it's the reaction. It's almost like how, when I spoke to Dennis Bergkamp about the Newcastle goal, he says that the ball from Robert Perez was behind him, and once he touched it, he realised he had to go the other way. It's the quickness of thought once the touch has happened. That's what I think.
Brilliant touch and a magnificent finish. But yeah, the reaction is superb for him to get there so quickly and then finish it.
Yeah, but it's just the way that when he touched it, why I feel like it was a touch that he was trying to set it in front of himself, because he was almost like looking for where the ball was.
Are you saying it was a lucky touch?
I felt like it was a lucky touch.
But the reaction, whether it was,
the reaction was top drawer reaction.
Right, let's